Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about um, importing external models, or sorry, inbuilt models in Python. So this is what tax2 is all about. So how to make a script dynamic. Actually, this is an inbuilt script that is made dynamically so that it runs when you pass in an argument. It runs. So we have what they call an inbuilt SYS dynamics that is used to run scripts. Good. Uh, so to run scripts dynamically. So as I was saying, the scripts in particular, which is what we are talking about, is just all about importing. You know that we have been importing the models that have been created by us. And we have make use of those models, especially the ones we create to perform certain functions. So we want to write import models that were created by this thing, by Python itself. So write a program that prints the number of and the list of its arguments. Write a program that prints the number of and the list of its arguments. Okay. So the output should be number of arguments followed by arguments. So so we have the number of arguments followed by the arguments. If number is 1 or arguments, then otherwise followed by column. So we have the column and the full stop, so whatever. But the whole concept about this is, okay, let's look at this particular one. A new line followed by, if at least one argument, one line per argument, the position of the arguments starts at 1 followed by column, comma, followed by the argument value. So we are just providing arguments through the terminal. Your code should not be executed when imported. So the number of elements of argv. So you know what argv is. If those that have undergo C in C programming, low-level programming, you know that it's argv is an argument vector used for getting arguments on the terminal. Argv can be retrieved by using the number of elements provided. That means, like, you know, in the other one we have what is called argc, argc, that is going to give us the total count. But in this case, we don't use argc, so you use the length to get the total argument that was provided. You do not have to fully understand list yet, but imagine that argv can be used just like a C array. You can use an index to walk through it. So all this grammar, actually, we might not understand, but let us look how it works here. So from how it works, we'll know what to do. From the way it works here, we'll know what to do. So now let's take a good look at this part. So this, assuming our terminal starts from here, and ends here. Sorry, not, that's a mistake. It starts there and ends here. So you can see where it starts and ends. Then we want to run it. We now run the /2args.py like that. So you can see what we have there. So we run that like that, /2-args.py. So when you run that without providing any argument, our outcome is what is going to come out. So you can see it's coming out. So we are going to have 0 arguments, and it ends with a full stop. So 0 argument, then a full stop. This is as a result of us not providing anything at all. Then if we run this stuff again, we now provide hello, something like this, hello, as one argument. So it's going to give us a count, especially when it is only one argument that's provided there. So we are going to have one, then one argument. Then instead of a full stop, we have a column. Then we now have 1 year, then a semicolon, then we have hello. So you can see that. So it's going to give us this thing. So if we provide more than one argument, maybe we have the stuff here, then .py, then we now provide more than one argument like hello, welcome to the something something. So it's going to tell us the number of arguments we have provided. So here we have 6 arguments. So here it's adding a column on it, and here we go. So we now have 1, hello world, 2, welcome to the best school, to the 6th one we have there, and that is it. So without wasting time at all, we are going to dive into that right away. So I'm just going to copy the name of this file so I don't type it again. It's going to open my terminal. Now open my terminal, sorry, so I'm going to clear my screen and make it a little bit bigger. So now that we have a very clear neat environment, now we can start typing. So the next thing is just to cd inside, desktop. Then I'm gonna cd again inside head your stink elx, and we're going to cd inside 0x02, yeah. So we're going to list what we have there. So these are the stuff we have here already. So I'm going to create the next thing we have on our list. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with cd vi, I mean. Then I'm going to paste the file we have just created. So this is going to come up. So we're going to go ahead and start typing what we are to do there. So usr /bin /python3, like that. So we are good to go. Now I tell you, as a good practice, actually we need to make sure this is the main file before every other thing is executed. So if we what I'm gonna call this right away, if underscore name, name underscore equals to, then in here I'm gonna put underscore main, which is going to be the variable which I've explained. So that's for the if. So whatever code we are going to be writing is going to be in there. So now in this case we are importing an external model, an inbuilt model. So I'm just going to say import. The external model is sys, which I'm importing. So now we can now go ahead and start writing our code. So forgive my manners, let me set my line because that's very important. Set numbers like that. Oh shit. Sorry, I need to do that again. Set number. Okay, good. So on line 4, that's where we are. So I'm just going back to insert mode. Okay. So on the part where we have the import of a thing. So we can start writing our code. Now the first thing we need to get there, for us to be able to get the arguments, the total number of arguments, and we this CSYS file has a function that is called argv. So if you want to check that out to know, you can get that by just doing this. So you can just do something like this. Let's assume length, sorry, length of this gth length. So let's assume we create a variable, then we assign the variable to sys dot argv. So we want to see what is going on there. So now if you put it like this, and let us print and see what is going on. So I want to test that and see how it works. So I'm just going inside there and put length just like that. So now that I've done that, let's go right away. I'm gonna run that file so you see it. So chmod, oh wait, something's wrong. chmod space u plus x then 2. Let me this because I need to clear this right away so we have a clean working environment. Because the terminal is kind of misbehaving whenever I'm zooming out. So let's list again. So you can see now we can run it right away. So you can see we only have one argument provided in the array. So if I run it with other arguments like hello, how are you, so it's going to store everything in an array, a list of stuff, then give it out back to me. So you can see everything is stored in a list. We have two array, hello, how are, and we have you. So you can see that we have the list of all these things being provided inside an array. So whatever argument we pass in there is going to be printed out in array format. So you can see how it looks like, right? Now we can go back to that place. You can even print it normally individually if you wish to print them individually depending on the number of arguments provided. So it's very simple. So that's the first thing we need to establish. Now another thing again we need to take note of is for instance, we want to get the total number of arguments. So now I've shown you how to list each argument. Now you want to get the total number of arguments. So you are going to use the length, len. So length function is used to get total number of stuff passed in. So you can see this in this place. Just this line of code will get the total number of list of stuff we have there. So we can still go and check that out and see how it goes. So I'm going to run it with this hello, how are you. So let's run it. So you can see it gives us 5 there. So let's count hello, and hello, how are you is 4. Then the argument itself makes it 5. So note we have 5. So you can see that, right? So starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The two args.py, hello 2, how 3, are 4, then you 5. So we have 5 stuff there. So you see, we are good to go. Now I can clear this right away. So I'm just going to go back to the editor. So now we have gotten the length of what we want to make use of. So I'm just going to delete this and leave the length there because we are going to be making use of that later on. Now the first thing is I'm going to give a condition. If length length, yeah, is equals to 1. So you can see that. So if length is equals to 1, you know that if I only provide only one argument, the length is going to count it as 1 there, so which is the argument itself. Now let me explain that so you understand why I'm using equals to 1. So putting that asterisk. Now if for instance hi, okay, let me print paste that stuff there back again. Now this the print statement. So I'm just going to type in just the command alone and want to get the length itself. Let's see what's going to happen. So you know why I'm using that. Now if for instance we run that alone, I'm going to get rid of this hello are you and run only this stuff on its own. You can see what they give us. It gives us 1. You see, 1 is printed out because it's only 1 we have there. And if we run that again and provide hi, it gives us 2. So because of this 1 is the first thing we have there, we don't need 1 on our list. That's what we don't want. We don't want 1. This one is not part of the argument. So except another argument is provided, which will make it 2 before something should happen. So now I'm going to edit that so you can see where this if statement is coming from. So I'm going to come here, good. So if length is equals to 1, so if I provide only a single argument, so I want to print stuff there. So what I'm going to print is I'm going to go in here, then dot format like this, then I'm going to cycle that away. Now cycling that away, inside there I'm going to provide some stuff there. So I'm just coming here and put my curly braces just like that. That's for this thing. Then I'm gonna put in there. Let me just put that as a digit. Oh, I can just go straight to the point. I are saying 0 arguments. Okay, let me just put that there. So the format there I want to be in there is going to be the length gth minus 1. Know that the length is 1, so 1 minus 1 will give us 0. So I want it to be 0 arguments. I don't know if it's capital letter. Let me check to see if it's in capital letter. Okay, small letter argument ARG U MENT. Yes, let me see if I spell it correct. arguments, just like that with a full stop. So you can see what I got there. So now if I go and test this to see if it works, to see whether we get something. So if for instance I run that with like this, nothing is going to be printed out. Can you see? Nothing is printed out. But if I remove this high we have in here, I remove the high there, you can see, you see zero argument is printed on the screen. Zero argument is printed on the screen. So I don't know. I want to run it that properly. Yeah. So zero argument is printed on the screen. But if I provide more than one argument, high, thus with a high, nothing is going to happen. You can see that. So I want to do for if it's one argument which is high is provided there, something should happen. I'm just going to go back to the environment where I'm working. Then you can come in there, and I'm going to put an if else. Okay, sorry, else if. Yeah. So else if length is equals to 2. So if we provide 2, that means one argument now. Then I'm just going to copy this and I'll come over here. So just like that, come up. So you can see. So in this case, it's going to be one argument because here will be 2 minus 1. That's 1. So one argument. So instead of arguments, because it's 1, it's just 1. So I'm just going to put arguments. Then instead of using full stop there, I'm going to use a column there because that's how they put it on the listing. So we are going to check that right away, and let's see what we get. Now you can see if I go ahead and run that, you can see 0 arguments. Can you see that? Now if I still move further in adding an argument like wasting, like that, you can see one argument provided. So I only provide one argument after the code that I've run here. Now if I provide more than that, maybe I say wasting technology, just like that, nothing is going to happen because I've not written a condition for that. So now I want to write a condition for that. Now to write a condition for that is I'm going to use the else because that's the final condition when everything moves smoothly. then sorry, good. So I'm going to print another stuff in here too. So the coily stuff, I could have just copied and pasted that because this is kind of waste of time. So I'm gonna put arguments. I'm gonna add s in this one, then a colon, then with the dot format, just like that. Then dot format. In here, I'm gonna put the length of the stuff. So actually we ought to have like, normally it's going to include the first stuff we have there as the argument, but we don't want that, so we're still going to subtract it by 1, so to get the argument properly, because if I didn't subtract that, we are going to include the part of the code we run as part of the argument, so we don't want that to happen. Now you can see, so I can reduce this now, so we have a good look of what we have been doing. This is actually small, so now we have everything for the condition giving of the set. Now the next thing is we want to print out those stuff properly on the site or on the terminal. So the way it is printed out, like 1, hello, 2, world, just like that. So I'm going to use a for loop to loop through each argument. So I'm going to use x in, so depends what I want to pass. I might decide to use enumerate, or I might decide to use range, whichever one is welcome to make use of. So okay, maybe later on I'll be using the enumerate for us to make things a bit easy, because there's actually no difference in those stuff. I mean, so if for instance it's kind of the same, right? Actually the same. So let me just make use of the one we know. So I'm going to use range, because enumerate actually make use of the list itself, the list provided there. You know that whatever we have here is giving us what we need in this scene. But I'll try to make use of the two so we can see the difference. So now I have range there. I'm going to put length just like this. So it's going to be a number. So just like that, I'm going to put column there. Then I want to print those stuff in there. So printing those stuff in there, how I'm going to go about it is just very simple to do. So if I have a print there, the next thing I'm going to do is, x is a number that is counting, and we don't want it to start its count from 0. So because we don't want it to start counting from 0, so we are going to provide another argument. I'm just going to put 1 there, then a comma, because we don't want the counting to start from 0. Because if we remove this one, it starts counting from 0, but we don't want that to happen. So I'm just gonna use let me expand this a little so you get to see what we are doing very well. So I am going to put that stuff there. So we're going to have this. So something like that, then the name of this thing. So let me see if there is a space in between that stuff. Yeah, 1, then column, then a space, then the number is going to be in this place. So you can decide, you might like to put the D sign just like this, is okay. You might decide to leave it open, but if your code is not completely accepted, make sure you add that right away. Now we have the stuff there, print, then here it's going to be the number, then the other place is going to be the names of those stuff in there. So we're going to provide a format in which we want it to work. Format. Good. Now providing a format, providing a format, we have to create open and closing parentheses. So the first one is going to be X. X will start its counting. So X will start its counting. Then comma, followed by, so this X we have here stands for what is going to be provided there. So you know that is a number. Then the next one is we are going to call on that stuff we imported. So S, you know that those stuff, if I put S, something like sys dot argv, just like this, is going to pour out all the arguments. But we want to, these arguments are arranged in arrays, but we want to access each index in this array. So to access each index in this array, we need to put a square bracket. Now, in between this square bracket, the numbers are going to be changing. So as the number changes, the accurate value we get. So I'll come in here and put the X there. So as X is changing value 1, it's also changed there too. So let's see what we got. So I'm going to run that with just this. We have 0 arguments. I'm going to run it with this. Can you see? We have 2 arguments. Can you see this? So it's working properly now. We have 2 arguments. Then the 2 arguments I provide was wisdom, which is 1, and we have technology, which is 2. If I just provide a single argument like this and run it, you see, now here is calling 1 argument, not arguments. And the 1 argument here is listed, which we have wisdom, which is the only 1 argument. So no matter the amount of argument I'm going to provide, so if I want to provide like 20 arguments to please help me with a bucket of water. See, so please help me with a bucket of water. It's 8 arguments that have been provided, and it listed all of it with that. So you can see how that goes. So just a bit wonky,